into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome back to... Alright, I'm going to stop that for a minute.
I think you should.
It just felt like I needed to do it. Guys, welcome to the Helix After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about episode 210, Mother. I feel like we could have opened to Mother!
Yeah, we could have.
But guys, I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Joining me on tonight's panel, Stephen Lemieux. But more importantly than Stephen Lemieux, we are so excited to welcome Tiffany Greshler back to the show.
Thanks, guys.
Writer of Helix, writer of this episode. So guys, thank you for joining us. If you haven't done so already, go on to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, where you can subscribe to this and all of the shows here at AfterBuzz. You can also find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you rate, leave a comment at all of those places. Hit the thumbs up, hit the 5 stars, whatever you want to do. But let's dive into Mother. You guys can also tweet at us, but before we dive in, you guys can also tweet at us. You can tweet at me at @ZachWilson. You can tweet at Stephen Lemieux.
At Stephen Lemieux, it's right there, yeah.
And Tiffany.
At T. Greshness.
And you can tweet us throughout the show or throughout the week. Whenever you have thoughts about Helix, you can use the hashtag ABTVHelix or my personal preference, hashtag Ziz.
Okay, so jumping off with hashtag Ziggs, where was it? Where was it, Tiffany?
It's buried in the cut somewhere. You have to find it.
We have to go
Yeah.
dig.
If you really want to earn those 5 stars, find the Ziz.
Ooh.
I task you fans.
Wait, does that mean it's actually in the episode somewhere?
Yeah.
Like, aired?
Yeah.
So now we
You
find it.
you have to understand, like, whenever you hear background noise or any kind of conversation, it could be there, it could be lurking, it could be buried within a sound, so it's going to be hard to find.
You're not just
It's not
screwing with
easy.
us, though,
I'm
right?
not screwing with you.
All right. I task our listeners, because we have an army of people who can help us out with this. I task
Bring
you
out
all.
the army.
Whoever can find Ziz first, we will find some kind of way to reward you for your efforts. Tweet it at us. Leave it as a comment on the YouTube page. Let us know.
5 stars.
Then I'm gonna go start hunting because I want whatever reward I just promised myself. So yeah, let's talk about this episode. This was
Dark.
Yeah, I was about to say this is
Dark.
maybe the darkest episode of Helix that we have seen yet.
I'm so happy that you guys are saying that.
So did you just, like, look up a bunch of medieval messed up shit and then write the episode?
No, not at all. I think I came from a more emotional place, actually, because I really just wanted to take, especially like the Anne and Peter journey. I think that where we're starting to turn with them, because they kind of formed this relationship, and then they're starting to get closer, and they're both kind of don't have their families anymore, and so what could be kind of this thing to bond them? And yeah, I went to the darkest place possible, but I just love those kinds of stories. So
Yeah, it was. I mean, we finally got to understand why somebody's teeth were getting pulled out
Yes.
all those weeks ago.
Yeah.
We finally, we got more into the baby farming. I guess like we knew that Michael was doing some crazy experiments
Right.
to try to recreate his immortality.
right.
But I would not have pictured a basement baby farm. And that's the only way I can describe it.
I really think for Michael, it's always been about power. And after, we saw in episode 207, I believe, where we kind of get his backstory and how he was betrayed and how he's kind of been harboring that resentment toward women, especially for having been cheated on and having the bastard son. So from then on in, it was basically, if you do not do what I want you to do, to the farm.
So he is
Or the birthing chamber, as it was scripted.
So my question to you, just wondering, really off the bat, Anne knows about this.
Yes.
Does Amy know about this for 100%
Yes,
certainty?
well, when you see in the pilot episode those quick cuts of the woman getting her teeth pulled, and it's basically the three women, and we don't see Agnes's face, but it's Amy, Anne, and Agnes down there. So they they know about it. They have been doing Michael's bidding down there.
So that makes Amy's refusal even more powerful in retrospect, because she's effectively risking becoming one of these.
That's exactly what
women.
she's risking. Yes.
Terrifying.
I get at what point, I guess, did you guys sort of see this outcome, or this thing existing? Because it's such a different.
We knew that pretty early on.
Okay.
We didn't know the scope of it. I mean, that's we write towards it, but we knew that there was going to be some kind of fertility. Right now, fertility is playing such a large role in the overall series. It's about kind of like seeding the crop and seeding humanity and kind of playing with those different types of themes. So we did know that there was going to be some kind of place where the women go.
So my question is, she originally takes him down there to discuss the truth about Mother.
Yes.
And then we find out about this baby farm. I hate that we're using the term baby farm.
Let's just call it the birthing chamber.
The birthing chamber. I like baby farm a little bit more.
We can call it baby, but baby farm makes it sound better. It's like, oh, guys, let's go to the baby farm.
The newest app, Baby Farm.
Yeah, right. Baby farm. It's a place. Yeah, it's not a nice place.
So are we gonna find that this kind of affects Mother in a way, or is this just basically
think about
how Mother makes everyone infertile and this is how we still populate the island? Is that how it's kind of interconnected?
So in 10, Anne says Mother isn't so much what it is, but why. I think when she takes Peter down there, it's explaining why. Why Michael was doing this which is again more of an emotion. Yes, he wanted on the front of it. He wants an immortal companion because he's been alone this entire time. But the real reason is about control. It's about power, which makes if Mother, this root stock that they use to graft into what they're feeding the women to just make it so Michael's the only one who can impregnate these women, gets out into the larger world. If Julia succeeds in taking Mother off the island, what is really at stake here?
I guess it's their culture. It's their.
Yes.
I guess in a way, I'm sort of looking at the birthing chamber as you sort of play that against his greenhouse.
Yes.
I think he's sort of looking at them as nothing more than a plant to husband with.
Yes.
His seed,
to graft with his seeds.
Yeah.
To graft his stock onto the lady plants.
No, but remember, I think there's a point, I forget which episode it is, and it's so fantastic, where Michael grabs Anne's head and pulls it, and he has that poisonous plant, and he goes to puts droplets of this poisonous plant in her mouth, and he's like, do you know why you're not dead right now? It's because I grafted the toxic out of it. I control nature. Nature does not control me. And that's a huge mistake to make, because I think that anybody who has a type of hubris ends up where Michael ended up.
Yeah.
I still want to see more of him.
I know.
Are we going to, or can you say?
We sort of saw the end of his present day storyline.
I know,
and
but can't there be mole people that he talks to for a while? Mr. Jingles escapes from the Green Mile and visits Michael in the chamber and the oubliette.
I love that character. Why you're not dead
but-
right now? It's because I grafted the toxic out of it.
That is Jonathan
nature does not control me
in the booth
and that's a huge
with the
mistake
Mac.
to make, because I think that anybody
If
who
you
has
want
a
to
type
mute
of
the Mac,
hubris
Jonathan.
ends up where
There we go.
That was more terrifying than seeing the birthing chamber for the first time, and I'll tell you guys what it was. It was hearing my own voice, and it was terrible. But I'm glad you guys were here to help me through that moment.
We know.
It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder what voice Peter is hearing when he decides to go down this incredibly dark, twisted path. I was shocked.
Good.
To say that he. I was surprised. When I love the moment where Anne's asking him where were you the most did you feel the most in control? And I was just when he was the king. Of course.
Vector
He
King.
had the most respect when he was
and
king.
I have to say, Neil Napier, oh my God, that performance. I mean, just being close on him and in the dark with the matches, and it was everything and more that I had envisioned for that scene, and he was fantastic.
Yeah, but
I gotta ask about this though, because I'm wondering, like, as a writer, when you're looking at the progression of this character and you're seeing where he started, where he is now, and where he is a few episodes and where he is now, it's a bit of a jump from like where he is. So when you're looking at a scene where you're taking a character who is fairly still sane and pushing him to the brink of, I'm going to slit these women's wrists for control, what kind of past experiences and events do you kind of take from to lead him to that point?
Well, I was thinking of it this way, which is when we first meet Peter, he's sick. I mean, this is season 1 stuff. He's sick. He's been through this terrible thing. He actually has, in a way, I mean, even though those memories are probably choppy, he's done some terrible things. He's assaulted people. He, put the black ziz in Julia's mouth. And then on top of that, we learned towards the end of season 1 that, oh my God, he's been working for Ilaria the whole time. And he actually gives the scythe the thing to detonate the building. So Peter's not a good guy. As much as he plays on, his artifice is very much, I'm the good guy, I'm the hero, look at me, I'm like the head of the team. He always has had another agenda, which is me. What is going to get Peter through the day? How am I going to survive, and how am I going to come out a winner? And then throughout also this season, when he's in that oubliette, that's got to take a physical and psychic toll on him. I really feel like that kind of being in those closed quarters, even though he had Anne to kind of be with, being betrayed by his brother again, even though he completely deserved it, in my opinion. I feel that even though it was a jump to see him slit those wrists, you have to remember, Peter's a murderer. He has done a lot of terrible things, and Anne, who is this person who gets very much this like psychic kind of leader after that scene where she does the "Who are you?" after he admits finally, the only time I ever felt really respected and really in my own skin was when I was a vector and I was a monster. He's actually admitting finally, that's who I'm supposed to be. I am a monster, and thank you for finally showing me down that path.
He's accepting that he's the villain of the story in a way.
He's actually saying finally, that's who I am. So in my opinion, he's always been that guy. It just took Anne, it took being in the oubliette, it took being beaten down, it took all of these things to happen for him to finally say, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be now.
So do we think we see Peter in the future aiming to become immortal so we can continue Michael?
Perhaps.
Or do we see him more in the role of, it's just, what I'm wondering where him knowing about this and him wanting the power can lead him when Anne has no power. All these women down there don't really have any power, and if they set them free, they're not really going to cause a revolt.
Anne has power in that she's a really smart, manipulative woman. Don't think Anne doesn't have power.
Oh yeah, I mean, just look at the way she turned. She was taking Michael's playbook effectively, or like what she learned from Michael. Yep. She shuts off the lights on him, starts berating him about his path. Like, when were you most respected? Making him feel unrespected in that moment, or disrespected. Unrespected is not a word. Disrespected in that moment where she's breaking him down to his bare essence until he breaks, and he effectively is. He may be in some kind of leadership role in this. I'm assuming that they're trying to form this new cult, a new version of Michael's cult, but he is very much under Anne's thumb.
Yes.
I don't know, Steven, do you feel differently?
No, I'm just kind of I'm speculating at where this could take his character, because in the previous episode we learned that he's very motivated by money, and that's what he kind of wants, and now we learn that he really wants power. And
are those two things different?
Not really. But when you put it together with where he is and what Anne's trying to accomplish and how he can benefit from what Anne's trying to accomplish, right. I'm trying to see how he can use Mother as well as the immortality serum they're kind of creating as a chess piece to his favor.
What's cool about what you're saying is that all will be answered in the next few episodes.
Okay.
So I can't spoil, but the question that you're posing is exactly where we're going.
Okay.
So that's cool. And then if we get a season 3, renew Helix, guys. I personally would love to see the Anne and Peter, really come to fruition and see where that goes and how we can put them in a modern setting, because Anne's basically been trapped on this island. You know? So if we do get Anne and Peter off the island, what is that going to look like? And how can they really kind of start to build out from there? So
can I ship dead Anne and dead Mark and dead Amy? Or sorry, dead Sergio and dead Amy?
Well,
Amy's not dead yet, but I mean...
Well, let's get into Amy in this episode because
she wanted Mark to get into her.
Yeah.
How great was that moment too, where she just like licks his hand? Allison Louder is incredible, and I just feel so grateful to have had her on the show.
She manages to be so attractive, and yet like you're
scared.
you're like
I don't want to, but I really want to.
Well, it's like when you first introduce the character, you're like, you're crazy, you're hot, and it kind of is great, but you're crazy, and now you're like, you're really crazy, and I wouldn't want to get near that with a
No, I disagree. I think she's fantastic.
I mean, she's such a fun character, but it was interesting when you pair Sergio and Amy right up against each other, like that moment where he like grabs her in the hall as she's throwing the biggest just like temper tantrum, just like going into every room she can find and just smashing everything.
Gotta be fun to film that.
I got to see her. I was actually on set for that, for pieces of that at least, where she was going in Michael's office and she was like slamming the paintings on the. And I was like watching her. I was like, oh my god, I want to do that so bad.
Right?
It's got to be cathartic, right?
Exactly. And I'm just watching her. And again, she's the kind of actress that can just really get there emotionally whenever, like when she screams, it's so guttural and so powerful. And yeah.
So we learned that Landry is Michael's son, which I guess is kind of common knowledge because everyone is.
Yeah, but like. Because he's Anne's daughter, he's not just Amy's half brother. He's full brother, just straight up brother.
Yeah.
Not half brother, not step brother, her brother.
We do full incest.
They love each other.
They do.
You know, there's a little bit of a Jaime Lannister Cersei thing going on.
Yeah.
You know what? We can approve of that.
In fairness, there isn't anybody on the island that she's not related to.
They're on the south end of the island, so it's okay.
Well, she's not related to Alan. She's not related to Ollie.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Well, at least Amy's trying to go outside of her family. She's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I do want Double Dick, Texas.
She could, yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Double Dick.
He's a doctor, sir.
Dr. Double My Cot Dick, Texas.
What?
Are you talking about Kyle?
Kyle, yes, Kyle.
Oh my gosh. Matt Long?
Yeah, his name is very long now.
Matt Long.
So Amy and Sergio, but yeah, so just that moment where they sort of are, where he's got her up against the wall holding her up by the neck. It was sort of an interesting parallel because Sergio from last season to now, I felt like he's sort of grown up in a way. I don't know. There's something about like the way that Mark is portraying him now. It feels much more in charge, but also just determined to like get something done, as opposed to Sergio, who like last season, who was very, I'm just doing my job. I'm gonna kill people because I got to. It makes me sad.
Well, I feel like his relationship with Anana last year basically made him a better man. And although we didn't get to play that at all this season, I think him being in lockstep again with Julia Walker, he really cares about her, even though he's not going to say it. You know, but he really cares about protecting her and making sure that they get this mission done because she basically wants to save the world. And
he wants to save the children.
Yeah, what happened to the children? His list.
Season 3.
Season 3, okay.
The Ballesteros list.
Hashtag renew Helix, guys.
There you go.
It's one of those things, they definitely are still out there. Unfortunately, since we had to come onto the island and do our island adventure this season, they were not taken care of because they're not on the island. But that's definitely something we have in our mind still, and we want to save the Inuits.
Well, we can forgive you because you did kill a few children this season, so you know what? It makes up for it. It's totally all right. They played Time Machine, then they played Dead Machine, and you know what? They all ended up on the floor. It was a great time.
Well, speaking of deaths, or potential deaths.
Not yet. I want to just talk about this football that is immortality that they're just tossing around to everyone because you have freaking. Okay, so Peter wants to give mother to Amy Peter wants mother from Amy and he's going to give her.
Peter wants mother so he can give it to Walker. So
Yeah, that's
Lauria
right.
can
He
have
wants
it, 'cause
money.
He wants his payday.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get it from Amy, and then Julia's working Amy to get Mother, and she says that she can give her immortality. So we
She
have all
says.
these. Yeah. So we have all these people trying to find Mother at this point, and then we learn that the only 3 people who know the combination to the lock are Brother Michael, Anne, and Landry. Mr. Handry.
Who looks like Sloth now.
He's the hunchback of Notre Ziz.
I mean, something's filling up all of his skin to make him puff out like that. It might as well be Ziz.
It isn't Ziz.
Because I don't think he's dead yet either. Because we pumped him full of immortal serum.
Correct.
It's
But he is also, since he has, think of it this way. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no.
Michael has been doing this experiment. So even though he hasn't created a perfect whole immortal, his children do have immortal like lineage inside them, just like how Julia had it, and that's why she was able to become an immortal through Hataki's Hubba Jubba. So Amy, in a sense, has immortal blood in her. She's just not full immortal. Same thing with Landry. So,
Okay.
So they all have the potential.
They have the potential-ish, and they're getting a little, like, maybe they live a little bit longer, maybe they live 10 years longer, or they're a little, when they get cut, they heal a little bit faster, but it's just not the full immortal.
they don't
have the silver.
Their eyes have a little bit of gray to them, but not
a little heather.
They might heal a little faster or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so we got this big like sort of Vertigo-esque fight at the top of the tower, where we sent 2 people down the well. And so the question, and I'll pose it to Steven because Tiffany has answers that she can't necessarily give us. Do you think we potentially lost Landry and potentially we lost Sergio as Amy
didn't lose
kicked his
Landry.
hand?
They showed that we didn't lose Landry. Sergio fell to the bottom of the well, or the bottom of the clock tower, and Landry's not there. To me, that's definitive proof that Landry is walked off somewhere.
Oh,
Lumbered off somewhere. There you go.
He's lumbering around now.
He's off getting random handries.
When he fell, he bounced around a lot more. I assumed he'd just been tossed like to the side because he like hit a lot more beams as he was falling down. Where Sergio felt pretty straight.
He looks like the tank zombie from Resident Evil 2. He's not gonna die from falling a few hundred feet, and neither is Sergio. I think Sergio's alive.
Yeah, I think he's.
If he's
playing
not
dead.
If he's not,
more
Mark
than anything
Ganime,
else.
you went out like a bitch. I gotta say. Like there wasn't even some Shanghai
come
Nights fight scene with the clock tower and the bell tower. There wasn't
Yeah.
even like karate or something. It was just, I'm gonna step on your fingers and you're gonna die.
I don't think he's alive. Just watching the show, I think he's just. I think Sergio's better, but my like TV viewer skills, I'm like, there wasn't any big music build. There wasn't like a big goodbye scene where he's falling in slow motion. No,
Jack. He like sinks down to the bottom.
which for somebody as beloved as Sergio, well, actually, I guess we don't love him. He's killed a lot of people.
I like Sergio.
I think there's something to love about everyone on the show.
Yeah, there's a little piece of Sergio in all of us, and just more in Julia than others.
Oh.
But no, I think
on.
Sergio's got to still be alive somehow. I just don't think there's a way to kill him off that way.
Yeah.
But it would make an impact if that's like how far Amy's willing to go, and then that's going to put Julia against Amy, and Julia's going to want to kill Amy instead of working with her. And then we have that power struggle. Meanwhile, Peter's kind of going to make his power play behind the scenes and catch Julia off guard. And I see perhaps even Julia could die. No, I'm just kidding because she's in the future. But I could see something happening, and that's what leads them to become infected. There has to be a crossover that causes the virus to affect the immortals.
Yes.
And that's got to be either using immortal serum to help Kyle and like trying to cure Kyle with that, which basically melds the blood, or it's maybe even when they put the baby inside of Amy, if Amy is infected somehow before they put the baby inside, and that melds the blood. Because that's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
it's not creepy at all to just take a baby and put it inside somebody or anything.
It's pretty terrible that she took the baby from Jordan
In the first place.
in the first place.
Baby jar.
I love that baby jar.
You should have brought it in.
I wish. No, of all the things that I really wanted from the show, the baby jar was one. But they won't give that to me. It's just They don't trust me.
Well, it's leaking anyway. You don't
It
need
is
that.
leaky.
But so we got the big answer. One of the big answers that we got from Sarah and Julia as they worked in this episode was how they became immortal. Like how it worked in a sense. And it's only because Julia was a brand new immortal, and some science stuff that I can neither repeat nor fully understand, but it involved RNA and DNA.
Yes.
And being freshly immortal.
Yes.
And when you take that and put it into somebody, that can make them
It's the stem
immortal.
cell. It's
There's
like
a window
yeah.
of opportunity.
Yeah, so that's why I guess it wasn't actually Sarah who became immortal, is what they were saying, right? They were saying that the spinal injections made the baby immortal and in turn made Sarah immortal.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way.
I think it made...
Because I think the baby was accepting the DNA at that point. Once you become too old, you're no longer able to accept the immortal genes.
Right.
So if the baby had been turned immortal, it just by osmosis made Sarah immortal through the baby living inside of her. And that's where we get the, what's that word called? Logic. that the baby could be the secret to turning other people
Right.
immortal. So basically we're just going to pass this baby football to anyone who wants to become immortal, and guys are just SOL.
I have a question from Twitter.
Okay.
From Neil Navier, who wants to know what happened to Tiffany to make her mind that way.
She was on our show last year.
I've always loved dark content. I'm actually not a huge horror fan, which is funny. It's really hard for me to watch horror movies because I get like so scared. But writing it, there's just something again about it that I just love being able to find the emotion or the cause. Like, how do you give some kind of monster or monsters kind of an emotional life and reasons for being who they are?
All right. Well, that's what I like. I think I like about Helix is that there's a lot of horror elements in here, and it plays with the more psychological horror rather than the ghost jumping out at you, which I've never been a big fan of. But this is like scary because there's a part of your brain that's like, somebody could do this.
Oh, yeah.
There is a person out there that is totally capable of building a baby farm, birthing chamber in their basement and just like holding people there.
Did see the news like last week, right? In LA, somebody like stabbed a woman a bunch, took the baby out of her, and then went to the hospital and said that she had a miscarriage and was trying to get them to revive the baby.
Or Kira Zagorski, who's an amazing kind of proponent of human rights. She sent this article. She tweeted this article about how female prison inmates are being basically shackled and held.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
And for me, again, writing the stories, I know a lot of people when the script first came out, they were like, "What is this?" And people were kind of up in arms, and they definitely thought that someone male on the staff had written it. So it was actually really nice for me to come forward and say, "Hey guys, this isn't me like trying to make it so we're demonizing or making women look helpless." But for me to more start a conversation, because in an entertaining way we can actually get through to these types of topics and then kind of bring it down, like you're saying right now, which is these things are happening. It's not even needing to be in a cellar. It could be happening someone in the streets doing this terrible thing, or in our prison culture. And
that's what good science fiction does is it takes something that is real, whether it's good or bad, and like just puts the slightest little like crazy science thing lens on top of it.
If your political commentary is right on the nose, people will hate the show. So you need to put it through a lens of fiction and craziness and awkward windows and awkward glass doors and all that kind of stuff.
We have so many awkward windows in the show.
You do. Awkward pulpit.
Yeah. It's the difference between if you look at a movie like Elysium, was very much like, hey, look at the problems with the healthcare industry, and you got that immediately, but you needed the slightest bit more subtlety to it, and that's sort of what this is. I think, from what I understand, what you're seeing here.
A lot of people in the chat room are talking about Sarah going, no.
I loved it.
In every episode, she's been basically my baby. And I love Jordan Hayes. And I like the character. I need to see the character act immortal, though.
Right.
Like, I see Amy walking around with these two dudes, and I'm just like, pick up a scalpel, like, shove it in their eye, like, kill them or something. Like, do something badass. You're immortal.
Right.
Well, Sarah was like being reckless with the honey earlier in the season.
I know,
Right,
but we didn't see that. We haven't seen that recklessness fairly recently. I mean, she got stabbed.
She's been beaten up terribly this season, so she has recovered. But to be fair, Amy is smart enough. I think in series, she's always had a card to play where she's like, "Yeah, come at me. Oh, but I'm going to knock your baby over." Or, "Yeah, if you do this, mother's hidden. I'm not going to tell you where she is." So it's one of those things where that character has been really smart about always leveraging. So if someone does come after her, she's like, "Fine, you want to kill me, but you're never going to get what you want."
That's why I think it's going to be interesting when we have Peter against Amy, because we have a room where there's the two awkward guards standing there, Amy holding the baby over her head, and we have Kira Zagorski, Julia, and Dr. Jordan, and then we have, who's on their side too? Is it
In that scene?
Sergio? Is it Sergio with them?
No, he's gone at the end.
No. When they're all meeting with the baby and Kira says that she'll give her immortality.
Sergio's on the ground at that point.
He's on the ground at that point.
At the bottom of the bell tower.
I was just thinking, like, Julia, can't you just, like, knock her bitch ass out? And then...
Amy?
Yeah, like...
But she needs mother.
I know.
She
doesn't know.
she doesn't know where it is, and
Yeah.
there's a ticking clock now because they've said that Narvik Sea is going to be out in 72 hours.
And if she doesn't get that, she's toast. And the Abbey's huge. It'd be different if it was Arctic biosystems. You could comb Arctic biosystems and find what you needed. But the Abbey is not just the Abbey itself. It's all this land. It's like, and Mother could be anywhere, and she needs it, and she needs to get off. She needs to get Mother and get off the island so she can save humanity.
I think I just want to see Amy get decked. Like, I think that's just really, like, what I really want to see.
You need to stay tuned.
Early prediction, somebody will clock Amy in the face.
I think my original prediction was that Anne dies in 11 and Amy dies in 10. So I was wrong about Amy, but we might have Anne dying in 11, or we might have Anne living to the end and somebody else dying. I don't know.
Or we might have Anne becoming immortal. We don't know.
Anne.
We might have everyone at the island becoming immortal.
It's an immortal party, guys.
Heyo, bring out the strobes.
Hey, at least we know that Alan and Kyle and Winger and the troops and Lieutenant Humphreys, will be coming back to the Abbey soon.
Yeah.
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 That'll mix things up.
Well, we have Kyle going, or Dr. Dick Texas going down this. He's
Get it
becoming
right.
more and more.
Dr. Double My Cot Dick Texas.
I'll just call him Kyle. It's way easier and faster. But so he's getting sicker and sicker at this point, and they're trying to find the Ziz tree or the bleeding tree, whatever.
Bleeding tree.
The bleeding Ziz. Ew.
Not touching it.
I don't.
Did I make you guys uncomfortable? I'm so sorry.
Slightly.
I mean, if we weren't uncomfortable from you writing a room full of women strung up with their hands on bars and giving birth, just nothing else.
Again, I'm from the South. It doesn't faze me.
Wow.
Sorry.
So, Stinky Summer, because we have another name
Stinky
for
cock
him now.
Smells like shit. Zach Wilson. Stinky Zach Wilson. Smells like shit.
Why are you?
Zach Wilson. Stinky Zach.
See, I'm not. I just know
Stinky
that that's
Zach
you. So
Wilson. Sorry,
maybe-
I'm just trying to annoy you to the point of you like yelling to shut
Maybe I'll
up.
find a little cliff by a river and toss
Drag
you.
me over. Okay, I gotta say something about that real quick though. Come on, Soren. You can't find a damn tree when it's right next to a gigantic chasm in the road. I've only been there a few times. There's no place markers or anything except for a gigantic freaking cliff. Hey, where's the tree, Soren? Oh, it's right by that gigantic freaking cliff.
Okay, to be fair, poor Soren has been
His depth perception's
made
not
sick,
that good.
and his eye, he took his eye out. They took his eye, man.
Yeah, I mean
Come
that's.
on.
They taste the best though.
They do taste the best.
They're crunchy.
Delicacy. In my
Bear Grylls got to him first.
But so I think it's interesting to see the hallucination finally, because like we sort of knew that they were angry, but never like why in particular they were getting mad, and now we know it's because they're seeing, I guess, the worst case scenario that their life can give them.
Yeah.
Like, here's a kid. What's the worst thing that this kid can do? Oh, he can like pick on me in this way that just drums up massive
Right.
childhood traumas.
Right.
Well, he's also gotten Time Machine too. He got really stoned. No, like Kyle, yeah, because like he's already got the child trauma, and now he's got more child trauma.
Well, that's actually from his past, though. As you see in the flashback a little bit, you see baby Kyle going like this when he's getting pelted.
Yeah.
So for me, that really was a story about humanizing and again making like showing what the mycotics are going through, which is a lot of just like that childhood trauma or any kind of stress in your life, any kind of stressors or something that you're insecure about, and how that kind of just like eats away at you and you hallucinate about it. It's terrible.
We saw a little bit more of that from when we got the radio call to the boat with the Coast Guard, because they're screaming. What were they yelling?
We all sound the same underwater.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is some sort of Coast Guard like warning drill that's drilled into them.
I didn't go there.
Oh, okay.
For me, it was like, what can we have? Because we hear the people kind of struggle, and then you imagine this like mycotic coming into thing being like, we all sound the same underwater.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Fucking creepy.
I guess the way I interpreted it was that it's sort of like
we're going down.
Astronauts in space, no one can hear you scream thing. So if you're if you're lost that way, it's sort of this deep fear. Like you're just at water. If you fell overboard and you're under the water, we all sound the same. You're not anything like. There's nothing to distinguish you from an air bubble.
You're just dead.
Yeah, you're gone.
Dark.
Lots and lots of death.
Caught a bad case of death.
But so the fact that it's on the boat means that this is spreading even more. Basically, anywhere within a bee's flight of the island, you're dead.
Yeah, a jet stream could carry him off. You don't know.
Yeah, so I guess the bigger thing here is that if Narvik Sea is about to be released in 72 hours, and this is about to get out there.
It's bad.
Are we thinking, Steven, are we thinking like a double outbreak?
I wonder, because then what is the cure for Narvik Sea? Because then if that mixes with the bee thing, and that's what causes the new pathogen, because what are cures really? Cures are just a very small form of the disease itself to let your body build up an immunity.
Yeah, well, that's a vaccination.
Well, yeah, a vaccination. But we don't know if the cure is a vaccination or what, but perhaps giving people the cure is what actually bonds it to the virus.
Okay, so I can see that. So maybe it's if Narvik combining with this virus makes it powerful enough to affect an immortal.
Yeah. Like, you never know. Like, it's again, like, you play God, you pay the price. That's another...
Their own hubris working against them.
Mother Nature obeys me.
Son.
I'm Brother Michael, even though I have Billy Campbell's voice. Batman Michael.
He's dead.
Peter, what is your real truth? My real truth is slicing women's wrists.
Why does Anne sound like Batman now?
Sorry.
Oh, Severin, I love her so much.
She's great. Thanks again. Somebody in our chat roll, let me see who it was. Mikey Bag of Donuts wanted to say thank you to all the actors and the writers and things like that who have come on our show. They really appreciate it. All the fans really appreciate the cast and crew taking their time to visit us on the Helix After Show. And I do want to tell you guys, go to iTunes, leave a rate and comment, give us a little comment, and we'll give you a shout-out. Shout-out to JStep0328. Awesome show, 5 stars. If Narvik Sea is ever released onto the world, I hope everyone on this podcast survives and they continue to make these great episodes.
Aww.
Well, I would hope the whole cast and crew also survives so they can continue to make the episodes.
It'll just be us 3 guys.
And then in our chat roll,
left on the island.
I'll give a shout-out to Heather Sevo, Mayo, and Mikey Bag of Donuts, like I said. And there's a few other people in there, but I don't see them. I think the chat roll has kind of reset itself over time.
Well, Kameo was wondering about Julia's moral standards at this point. And like, it's sort of interesting because we're dealing... Throughout Helix now, we have sort of 3 different versions of Julia. We have the one we had last season where she's pretty much an innocent and she's just coming into this situation, gets dropped in, all of a sudden she's immortal. Now we have present day Julia, who's very intense. Like, she's going to get the job done. And like, yes, that job is saving the world, but she's sort of fallen into the Ilaria mindset in a way where she is very just like, the world, it's what's important to the world,
right?
Not just like what's important to what's right.
I'm gonna use an analogy here, Zach. So you have, like, let's say $50, and
Sweet.
you're playing poker. So somebody bets you $35, you're going to think twice about doing that bet because you only have $50.
Right.
All right, Julia at Arctic Biosystems, that was her hand. She had $50 and they were putting bets on the table like that. So she thought in a certain way, $35, that's a lot of money. All right, Julia has billions of dollars now. Somebody says, hey, here's a $35 bet, plus like 20 people are going to die because of it. She's caring for 100 million people, and she's got billions of dollars. She's not going to think twice about putting that bet out there.
Fair enough.
She, becoming immortal and being surrounded by this infrastructure, being surrounded by the history of the entire world around her, puts her in a mindset of a big picture. And people who see the big picture don't really see the small picture. That's how people who gain $10 million overnight lose it so quickly because they're so used to doing things a certain way that they don't understand what they actually have, and they just kind of blow it all. So that's kind of where her moral standards come in. She's not worried about small fries anymore. If everyone on this island dies, it's whatever. I mean, she lost a hand with maybe just the ante.
Yeah. So I guess the question is then, she sort of seems much more not relaxed, that's the wrong word, but
I think callous, maybe? Is that what you mean?
yeah, I'm thinking about the future, our future Julia.
Future. Yes.
Because she's not like...
That's another hand reversal, though.
Yeah.
If you want to stick with the poker terms, now she's back to having $50.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And people matter a lot more because the immortals matter a lot more, and humans matter a lot more because there's not as many of them. So she goes from poor to rich to poor, just like anyone who gets a lot of money would.
Something that would humble her. Mm-hmm. What if she manages to find Mother, get like the apples going, calls Ilaria, don't release Narvik Sea.
Oh, they're
we
gonna
got
do it anyway.
It's all good. Hold on. But what if, and they're like, okay, we'll sterilize mankind. And then this virus gets out anyway. So you wind up doing both. Mm-hmm. And what could have been like a measured, like taking away most of humanity becomes crippling to the world when you accidentally destroy everyone. Because no one can have babies anymore, but you've also released a virus that's killed off almost everybody anyway. So,
and now the immortals who were resistant to the infertility are now dying as well.
Yeah.
So you've effectively eliminated the entire human race. Thanks to freaking Tiffany Greshler.
Unless
my plan,
Julia can go and find the forever fetus.
Oh, forever fetus.
I'm wondering what the forever fetus is there for then. Is she going to turn humans into immortals? Is she going to use it to cure herself, possibly?
Well, I mean, much like you have stem cells from fetuses. If you have immortal stem cells, like beyond just like putting it into like somebody and making them immortal, just using those stem cells could be huge in curing anything. Just like stem cells are used to cure cancer today. Who knows what they could do if they're immortal.
The forever stem cell research.
And maybe they just keep regrowing. It's like an infinite, just like we have an infinite supply of stem cells from forever fetus.
I'm pro forever fetus stem cell research. Some people will tell you that I'm not, but I guarantee you I am.
I mean, by that point, the forever fetus is old enough to vote and drink and rent a car. If it's lasted 30 years...
Hey.
Oh, my God. But it's leaking.
It is leaking. They had a lot of trouble getting that wooden cabinet open.
Yeah, like, go at it from the side, not, like, the metal part in front.
Well... Forever fetus is hooked in, and if you have it, like, if anything happens between, it's like basically plugged in to that thing in the wall, and if you kind of disrupt that, something could go awry.
So we can't jumpstart forever fetus by unplugging it and plugging it back in?
That's all I'm saying.
My baby's not growing. Have you tried plugging it in, turning it off and turning it on?
You have to be careful. It is, I mean, it's still a baby, and...
You say that, but what if it is really just about taking the baby out and putting it back in?
Like a restart?
Yeah, it's a restart, and then it just starts growing.
Yeah.
So it really is just unplugging
and then it becomes the guy who's on the island 30 years later. And now Forever Fetus is actually, what's his name? Colin? No,
Caleb.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, we got to wrap up. Let's do a quick round of predictions.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Do want to give a shout out real quick.
Yeah.
This week we have Tiffany, of course. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
Last week, if you didn't catch it, we had Severn Thompson, and the week before that, we had Allison Louder. Next week, we'll have Jordan Hayes
Awesome.
on the show in studio. The week after that, and next week, I think Mark Ganime is also going to try to call in next week. We'll see if you can get him on. In 2 weeks, we will have Kira Zagorski. She was the surprise special guest. Kira is now confirmed for episode 12. Awesome. We don't know yet if she'll be in studio, if she's video Skyping in. She's a busy lady.
Will
She's
she be-
got past and future stuff
Yeah,
to film.
which year version are we getting? Is this from 2035 or whatever?
The thing about Kira, she looks good in all versions.
There you go.
So you'd be
Very
lucky
true.
to have present, past, or future.
And then I believe we have Steve Maeda
Yeah.
for the finale.
Maeda.
Yeah.
Maeda.
Maeda.
No, it's Maeda.
We're all saying it. Apparently, except for Tiffany. I deferred to her. But yeah, so next week it looks like they're trying to prevent anyone from getting off the island. I think there's planes that looks like they might firebomb the island to like just or gas the island, kill everybody, try to put a stop to it.
The bees!
Bees. Sorry. How often did anybody make the Arrested Development joke just constantly?
There were so many puns and jokes in the room because of those stupid bees. You have no idea.
Did you see the end to
I can't even eat
Zombievers?
honey anymore. No.
The end of Zombievers is queuing up for a sequel with zombies. And I think that's actually, I think Helix is
Let's
actually...
beat him to the punch.
There you go. Okay, real quick question. I'm sorry that I have to ask this. Did you guys play The Last of Us before doing this season? Like, did anyone bring that up?
No.
Really? Okay.
No.
Not saying it's a bad thing. I just love the references that are kind of similar.
Well, the big reveal that we got in the next on it looks like
Amy is
Amy's
immortal.
got silver eyes. But is it sustainable? Probably. If she's got the silver eyes, I don't think they're going away.
Oh my god, that is terrifying. I just figured out what you guys are probably going to do with Amy.
Do share it with the classroom, Steven.
Amy's going to become immortal, and then she'll be whisked away by Peter to be the one baby farmer.
Oh, that's...
She's going to be the immortal baby farm.
Oh, no.
I mean...
Or listen.
Well, do we have... At least we haven't seen a case of when two immortals have a child together.
No, but Peter's not immortal.
This is true. I'm just like, my brain's, the wheels are turning.
Hashtag immortal baby farm. That's my prediction. That's where I'm
But what
leaving
Mother
off.
does is, though, you have to think, remember, Mother makes it so mortal men cannot have children. Only
Yeah.
immortal men.
Has he eaten apples yet? Hopefully he hasn't eaten the apples.
Yeah, I don't think Peter ate the apples, but it easily could have been snuck into his food.
I think
Some
I think Billy Campbell was wishing he ate the apples last season before hooking up with Sarah.
would have
the apples
saved
again, Alan?
everyone a lot of headache.
I really just don't like fruit.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it on that note.
The seeds get stuck in my teeth.
There are no seeds.
Oh, I'll eat the apples then.
That's going to do it for our after show here for Helix Mother.
Hashtag forever raped. That's messed up.
Whoa.
That is messed
didn't
up,
need to-
Cameo in the chat.
All right, moving on.
Whoa.
Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us this dark, twisted show to enjoy.
Excellent.
And we're going to go back and listen for Ziz in the
gotta do it.
background.
I'm saying, fans, I'm tasking you with this. So, Tiffany, if people want to keep up with you, follow along, see what you're up to, where can they find you?
At T Greshness on Twitter.
And do you have any other projects in the works, or are you just waiting to hear from Syfy?
I'm just out, going on some meetings and waiting to hear. So, renew Helix.
Do it.
You heard her, guys. Stephen Lemieux,
You can find me on where can they find me on Twitter, Zach?
clear your throat.
Where can they find me on Twitter? Give me an answer. I need answers.
Probably at Stephen Lemieux.
Yes, it's Stephen Lemieux. That's right.
I'm doing Better Call Saul later tonight. We're streaming live to YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson. Bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Better Call Saul with Stephen Lemieux later tonight. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on tomorrow night. A bunch more, guys. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
Where is Hatat?
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Ziz ya later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.